morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident stinker and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Well, it looks like as we crest into week 3 of the FIGHTER DENDOH collaboration, it looks like it's going to be a surprise not only on Medarot S's end, but also in the GFD community as a whole. So it just so happens that based on my research this morning with today's coverage, we're actually going to be seeing the 25th anniversary of FIGHTER DENDOH in general, outside of the collaboration here with Meta S. So it's going to be double the fun and double the celebration on both sides of the community. This time around for Meta S, however, we see the introduction of 2 souped-up versions of models that we already had released here in Meta S so far, with Gear Dendo and Gear Ogre. But this time around, we're going to be seeing some really powerful and honestly really cracked kits based on just what Dendo is packing so far. That being said, though, let's go ahead and jump right into what was officially announced for this week, starting with the gacha banners and who to expect in this week's lineup. Now, it is going to be relatively light as far as banners are concerned, much like it has been in previous weeks, so not a whole lot of models to go after, especially if you got really lucky in the banners so far. But the one model that we see coming up this week is GFD-03 Neo Unico Dend, with a kit of All Guard, Hard Pile, Emit Blade, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Solid. Now, as you see here, much like it was with the Gear Ogre the first week of the collaboration, Neo Unicorn Dendo, essentially, is packing 2 brand new skills being introduced in the game as well. Hard Pile is basically in the same vein as a Hard Hammer is, with a lot of iconic users such as Shadow Armor. So basically, it will add the sum of the user's resist stats to power when attacking, but the difference is Hard Pile also is packing Defense Ignore and Piercing, so that attack is going to be absolutely cracked with the right setup. And as if that wasn't good enough, the leg ability of Solid only synergizes with that even further, with granting a new ability called Fight Guard Boost. And this essentially will boost the user's legs resist by a staggering 120% while active. So that means if you pair that off with Hard Pile, you are going to be absolutely smashing through a bunch of really heavy, bulky builds, especially given the fact that Hard Pile also ignores defense. So Neo Unico Dend is definitely going to be packing a lot of high-power heat and artillery the second he hits the field this week. We do also have a second round of the collab Super Invasion, so nothing really special to announce there, aside from mostly just kind of sweep it with your best team for another limited nameplate and some extra limited resources. Now, for the boosted rates that are moving up alongside Neo Unico Dend this week, it's going to be a couple of very familiar faces and a couple of very beginner-friendly models as well. We see the reintroduction of NUE 0 Beast Chimera with Canceller, Ghost Shot, Laser, Wheeled Legs, and Haja, and the everyone's beginner's best friend, GLF 0 Wind Clap, with Stat Cleanse, Claw, Rifle, Biped Legs, and All-Rounder. So honestly, like I said, it's going to be a couple very user-friendly bots that are going to be added to boosted rates this week, alongside Neo Unico Dend. So it's going to be very nice, and even if you do end up missing Neo Unico Dend, you still have a lot of very powerful assets here between these two. Windclap, honestly, is extremely speedy and very, very beginner-friendly on its own as a mixed range and mixed utility fighter. Stat Cleanse you can never go wrong with anywhere, especially with basic attacks like Claw and Rifle at its disposal. And Beast Chimera is mostly going to be more your generalized shooter DPS type, especially with both Ghost Shot and Laser at its disposal. And Cancer, of course, if you find yourself in need of it, and very solid wheeled legs at that. So it's going to be a very nice week this week as well, and like I said, relatively low-key as far as banners are concerned. So if you got lucky with the banners so far, or if you're particularly just skipping out until the end and just from there deciding who you want, this is honestly a really good opportunity, and given the fact of what Neo Unico Dend is bringing to the field, I'm definitely going to emphasize he's one you want to really try putting some effort towards, especially if you're looking for some high-power DPS. Now, for the fierce battles we have going on this week, it's going to be yet another very extremely beginner-friendly, user-friendly type of week with a lot of very high variety, especially with the shooter type of utility. On this top row, We're starting off with BRA-0 Land Brachio with Anti-Air, Double Beam, Tank Legs, and Bullet Rain. We have TIR-0 Attack Tyranno with Fire, Double Hammer, Biped Legs, and Straight. And WEA-03P2 Shisaku-2 with Charge Buster, Press, Power Rifle, Tank Legs, and Trap Buster. On the bottom row, we have SCP-0 Poison Scorpy with Triple Melt, Multi-Legs, and Desert Type. LDB-03 Ptolemy with Scope, Rifle, Gatling, Biped Legs, and Gunman. And DRF-03 City King with Press, Anti-Air, Press, Flight Legs, and Bullet Rain. So honestly, like I said, it's going to be very beginner-friendly for a lot of generalized shooter DPS this week, especially with two different models here giving the opportunity for Bullet Rain as a leg ability. Aside from that, there are honestly a lot of very solid skills between the 6 of these. Attack Tyranno for Hammer if you're looking for anything to flush out enemy leaders. Shisaku 2 mostly for generalized shooting as well. Poison Scorpy probably is going to be the MVP of the week, though, primarily on the grounds of multi-legs and desert type. Even if his legs may not be the fastest there is or the most tanky, having an extra terrain that the legs are S rank on will oftentimes put you just a little bit of an edge above the rest, especially if you are starting out and at the bottom of the rung and still working on trying to pick up your library of parts. Ptolemy is also really good for generalized shooter or auxiliary shooter supports for female teams, and CT King mostly for heavy punish, but also with anti-air coverage as well. So ultimately, it never hurts to collect all 6 of them for the sake of having them in the libraries, but Poison Scorpy is probably going to be the big one you want to focus on the most for the sake of the multi-legs and the extra terrain compatibility. For this week's Wave 3 of Collaboration events, it's going to be picking up just a little bit as well with a rerun shot at a previous medal event reward. For this Wave 3, we have an opportunity to earn, or re-earn, I should say, the Unicorn Medal, which is a Assist Nature medal with a Mastery in Melee, Support, and Healing, and leg masteries of Biped, Tank, and Float. We can also earn another profile banner featuring characters from Gear Fighter Dendo itself, and of course more gacha tickets and limited time resources. The event for this week will be Boss Fight, so pure sets will be encouraged across the board as you build teams. Now, for those that are out of the loop for what Boss Fight entails, basically it's very similar to Score Attack, where you're essentially going to be farming the highest level you can complete for points. However, every completion of a level that you accomplish gives you opportunities at encountering a boss fight. These boss fights give you opportunities to earn more limited resources with slightly harder enemies, and in some cases even some extra modifiers. So it is going to be basically 2 rounds of Score Attack into 1. Other than that, it will be fairly easy for the most part. I don't expect anything to be absolutely cracked or horribly abusively difficult, so it's going to be a fairly easy in and out. And especially if you are a seasoned pro and have played for a while and already have the Unicorn Medal, it's not going to be nearly as much of an incentive for you to push this week and kind of take it as your rest week. Now, as far as Meta Survivor is concerned, though, it is going to be fairly quiet on that front as well. Spatha Regino has the event for her, has an event refresh and reset, so mostly just some stuff cycling around with there, nothing really to report. But there is also one really big thing to announce for Meta Survivor that it did announce in its incoming patch for 1.8. And that is a new mechanic featuring Medallia. Now, Medallia specifically is a mechanic that has been around in Medarot for quite some time. It actually was introduced in Medarot 3, I believe. But basically what they do is allow medals to equip extra masteries or extra passives on top of what they already are packing between the parts and the medal itself. It's no real telling how exactly it's going to behave in Meta Survivor, but I'm expecting it's going to be fairly the same case where they can be toggled on or off, or even tuned, or even powered up as an opportunity to earn extra perks and extra passives whenever you're completing your runs. Now, as far as a community is concerned, though, we are still always looking for translators to assist us with any of our ongoing endeavors. That includes the current ongoing manga translation for any of the Medarot mangas, or even for the Medarot 4 English translation patch. If you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, or if you know somebody that might be able to lend a hand or interested in doing so, definitely feel free to reach out to us or even to me. Join our Discord in the link provided as well. We can get you in touch with the right people. Or if you are not able to assist by any means that I listed previously, You can also donate to the cause. There is a link to various crowdfunding in the comments in the description below as well, where you can donate to the cause, and we can also commission to have some of those extra lines of text translated. And having that work done does lighten the load on the translators just a little bit, so all they can do is focus on cleaning and typesetting, which is also as much of a pain in the neck as it is to go through every line of code and translate all the Japanese into English. So the more help we have, the sooner we can complete the Ikki saga of Medarots 2 through 4, and finally see the full story from start to finish of characters that we all know and love. Again, you can reach out to us on Discord, or even reach out to me and ask, and we can get you in touch with the right people. Now, I did also announce this earlier this morning at about midnight or so, closer to about 1 in the morning, of the the now started Ori Meta contest that the Project Rising Beetle is officially hosting for the next 2 weeks. So as you see here, it will be going live starting today, 9/16, to November 11th. So roughly about 2 straight months of time for you guys to come up with designs. There is no theme prompt requirement for this one. It is a free-for-all, so you can design whatever you want to your heart's content, within reason, of course. But I decided to change things up, especially this time around, with the rewards and the prizes for the top designs. This time around, there is a cash prize and my signature concept art I've been doing the past several contests. So it's going to be a lot more lucrative this time. And on top of that, there is another thing. There's another perk I added to sweeten the deal. If by the end of the contest duration, which is on the 11th of November, if there are more than 20 entries in the contest, I have already arranged a panel of people that are interested in streaming with me here on the MNN, and we will go over every single design and talk about them and deliberate winners real time. So I'm looking forward to that if we're able to do so. On top of that, if you guys do manage to reach that second tier of 21 or more, there is also a much more lucrative prize pool. Alternatively, if you guys don't really have a lot packing under the hood for designs, there is a little bit of a smaller cash pool, and I will go over all the designs myself, much like I have been. So if you guys want to make this engaging for everybody, definitely let me see all of those designs by the end of November. So I'm very excited to see what you guys have. You can join our Discord if you want links to the rules and any of the extra parameters that are required for any entries to be counted as submissions. Now, your old pal Kura also is going to be getting back into streaming here pretty soon, now that he's got the new rig up and running and just about where I want all of my generalized settings to be. But this next week, Monday, Monday, the 22nd of September, I'll be having some guests hanging out with me here on the MNN for a round of Outsmarted, which is a hybrid board digital Trivial Pursuit game. Now, of my guests that are coming, Akko, W Drum, Saida Stein, and Huntress Wayne. Akko has actually been on the MNN once before when we played a round of Goblin Cleanup, if I recall correctly. So it is going to be nice to have Akko back on the channel here as well as the 3 new guests that will be gracing us with their appearances this next week. So that collaboration will be at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not miss it. We would love to have you guys with us as you cheer our contestants on to see just who is the smartest of the bunch. One last thing before I do wrap us up, as a friendly reminder, I am always open for art commissions as well. So if you are knowledgeable in coding or cleaning or Japanese and have some time on your hands, or if you'd like to also have something done, such as live 2D, 3D models with the works, or even just standard art as well, my DMs on Discord, Blue Sky, or Twitter are always open for this reason. Do not hesitate to reach out. I'll be more than happy to work with you. I will do just about anything, including mecha. I just will not do anything NSFW or gore, so that is fairly straightforward. Again, you can reach out to me on any platform, and we can most certainly try to make something happen. But with that being said, that does basically cover everything for this week's episode, so it's fairly quiet as far as stuff incoming from Medarot S and Meta Survivor is, as far as the new stuff, aside from celebrating Geared Fighter Dendo's 25th anniversary in tandem. But if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below on Facebook at the Medarot News Network page, or the Metabots Forever community that is currently swelling over 50,000 members and still growing by the day. You can also join us on Discord in the link provided and in the comments below to keep an even closer ear to the ground on the action. That includes any new links to merchandise, fan art, contests, my weekly episodes, or anything else of the like. That is the first place you will hear it before it goes anywhere else on the net. You can also reach out to me personally, like I said, on Twitter, Blue Sky, or Discord at IsagamIKura, so do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, concerns, feedback, whatever. That also applies for commissions, or if you'd even like to collaborate with me, which is having you here on the MNN as a guest host, or me stopping in on your channel for a friendly chat or game. I would love to coordinate with you. Do not hesitate to reach out to me. My DMs are always open, and the workshop doors are open with the open arms to anybody. That being said, that does basically cover everything, so fairly short like I said, but as always, I do appreciate you all for stopping in, just as you always do, and until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.